You know, being named CEO is the first day of your life, not the last. Success is ultimately going to be measured on how fast you learn, not what you know. Follow only 3 traditions: a commitment to integrity, a commitment to performance, and a commitment to change. Companies, particularly old ones, can't have institutional memories. Be passionate about winning. People do work for more than just money. Winning creates a self-confidence that can captivate talent in every era. But remember to celebrate the small wins, one person, one customer, one idea at a time. Communicate frequently and openly, with simplicity, trust, and consequence. When a good leader whispers, a roar must be heard throughout the organization. Respect people. Care deeply who works for your company, understand how they are paid, and invest to make them better. Strive to know your best talent and make it your mission to keep them all. And lastly, and most importantly, be yourself. Have fun and give back. My biggest lesson from Jack you'll never read in a book, not even his own. It's how much he loved his work and how much he gave when no one was looking. And if you love what you do, you make it fun for others, and they give back in return. You know, in your program tonight, about the speaker tonight, it quotes The Economist, saying that leading GE is no job for a mere mortal. Yet that's exactly who leads companies today, ordinary people. But that's the real story of change. Ordinary people with the right leadership and culture can do extraordinary things. So we enter a new era. But that's the GE story, told over 120 years. It's about a survivor instincts and a passion for change. More than that, it's a story about great people. And it's a time when the people in GE are going to build new dreams and have some fun. And we'd love to share some of that fun with you. So buy some of that stock tomorrow morning. Thanks very much.
Now let's have a little fun with a few questions. You made a comment when talking about succession. You were part of a very well-publicized horse race. Your 2 colleagues, Jim McNerney and Bob Nardelli, are now leading 2 other Dow Jones 30 component companies, 3M and Home Depot, respectively. That's a great compliment to GE and to the 3 of you. Would you agree you are all winners?
Thanks. Well, first of all, I know that being here in Chicago tonight, I'm in Jim McNerney territory. He grew up and went to New Trier High School, and I know he's got a lot of friends in the room here tonight. The 3 of us will always be bound in history, I guess, in GE and the way the process was run. The process was, I think, one of the things that help a process like this is that we all had tremendous trust and faith in Jack. And we felt like he treated us all equally, and because of that, it was easy for us to look each other in the eye and respect one another and be friends throughout a very tough process. He told all of us in September that if we didn't get the job, he wanted us to go someplace else. And that was tough, let me tell you. It was probably the toughest day of the entire process. But the notion really is one of when a new leader takes over, the theory was wanting to have a clear and free run to lead the company into the future. So we all kind of went in the same process. We did it in a very fair and equal way. We had a boss who we all trusted and respected and loved. And as a result, I think we're all remain friends today. Home Depot is a very big customer, so Bob's a real friend of mine. And Jim is a customer, so Jim's a real friend of mine. But the bottom line is we're all friends. And it's just the way the process works. You can argue with the philosophy, but anytime things are open and fair and above board, it turns out that the relationships remain strong. And I think everybody in this particular case remained friends and has done quite well.
What do you see as the biggest challenges you face as you assume the reins of arguably the most visible global company?
You know, the job is actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. First of all, no, I'm just kidding. I think when you look at GE today, challenge number 1 is to assimilate Honeywell. This is a major acquisition that we announced last year that we hope to close by July. We've gotten approval from the U.S. government, and we're in the process of getting approval in Europe. That really is going to transform our aircraft engines business, our industrial business, and our materials businesses So we're really taking Honeywell and breaking it apart and combining it with the various parts of our organization. It is the biggest deal we have to really face and get through this year, and so that's kind of job one. Job two is all about the people. I think when you go through a leadership transition like this, what's really most important is to touch people. It's to make sure that the key talent stays, to make sure you can work through a process like this. Again, Jack was a huge presence in the company, and he has a great relationship with all the leaders in the company. And my biggest challenge in the next 12 months is really to touch the people, touch the leaders, build the loyalty, and make sure we have those people going into the future. If we have great people, we're going to do just fine. We can face every economy, we can face every country, we can take every initiative, and we can make it work. But right now, we have to fight off Russell and Reynolds and Heidrick and Struggles and all the other executive recruiters out there and make sure we keep the best people. So I'd say it's Honeywell and the people really make a difference when you're going through a change like this.
Well, that's a great lead-in for the next question. You said your father worked at GE, and you've been born and bred at GE, and you bleed GE blood. You made a comment about the recruiters. What captured you and kept you there when you had so many opportunities to probably lead other companies?
First of all, kind of going to, I do have great loyalty for the company, but the fact that my father worked there really wasn't part of the draw necessarily when I went to work for GE. When I went to work for GE, my plan was to stay 5 years, learn something, and then go do something on my own. 20 years later, I woke up and was CEO, and I think the difference in between is just the ability to get different jobs and different businesses, work with great people, and just continue to learn. I've never really had a master plan to get to where I got to today, but I always wanted to take jobs that would stretch me, help me learn, and work with people that I could learn from. And the great advantage of a company like GE is you can work in businesses as different as NBC and plastics and medical, so you get a very broad business background. We just have great teammates to work with, and that's what makes you stay. So I can honestly say that, I never really seriously considered leaving GE and looking and trying something else, except for that day Jack told me to be ready to leave GE. That was probably the one time I thought about it. But it's just when you love what you do and you have fun and you love the people you work with, you just count yourself as very lucky, and the challenges take care of themselves.
Would you embrace a more favorable nuclear energy policy, and how would you approach that, given your great experience, your company's experience in energy production and distribution?
As you read in the newspaper every day, there is going to be a real energy shortage this summer, and I think going into the future. California is very hard hit. This region's probably okay. New York City is going to be tight. New England's going to be tight this summer. And basically, it has a lot to do with the fact that as energy consumption has grown over the last 10 years, there hasn't been the same reconstruction of energy-producing facilities, generation, and things like that. So there really is a particular issue that we're facing today. And it's putting into the public debate lots of options with respect to nuclear power, all the way to fuel cells and everywhere in between. As a company, as GE, we participate in every part of the generating side of energy. So we've got a fuel cell business, we have nuclear business. Our biggest business is gas turbines, we're in steam turbines. My belief in nuclear is that while we'll stay in that business, we won't make substantial investments unless we see a real change in the public policy debate. There really has to be real debate and real consideration about what happens on the nuclear waste side that has yet to take place. I think the conversation is just beginning, but we're a long ways away from endorsing new nuclear power capacity coming into the U.S. And I think that's something we're going to watch very, very, very closely. The thing we are investing heavily in right now is in energy efficiency. Whether it's steam or coal or nuclear or fuel cells, more energy efficiency is absolutely critical to help us get through this. So we'll watch the nuclear debate. We'll stay in the nuclear business. We'll support the industry in every way we can. But in terms of laying down $1 billion to develop the next generation of nuclear technology and power generation, we're going to have to see more in the public policy debate to make that
Every
step. Meeting I go to, there's a conversation about NBC or appliances or buying things or spinning things off. Right now, I'm kind of 5 months into the job. I'm learning, I'm thinking, I've got ideas on where we go in the future. The one thing I can promise you is that there will be the next big thing, and then the next thing, and the next thing over time. But I'm not going to make any news tonight by telling you specifically what that next big thing is going to be. It's a company, though, that's set up for change. It's a company that thrives on doing things differently and changing every day. And I think all the people in GE and all of our investors will be disappointed if we don't work on the portfolio, if we don't drive new initiatives and continue to take the company in a very aggressive way.
Well, Jeff, I know we all feel good about your presence. You commented that you were among Fortune's most admired companies. The Financial Times has you as the most respected company. People always say, well, what comes next? Well, I think we all see tonight what comes next. I think GE is in very good hands. I think you'll all agree we've been blessed with a great evening, a very down-to-earth leader, and we're all going to look for great things. We're going to look for those big things from you, Jeff. So thanks so much for being here, and we are adjourned.